Were you in charge of the investigation into the death of Damian Smith?
Yes, I was.
Could you please tell the court what made you come to the conclusion that Damian Smith had been murdered? Detective.
Oh, I'm sorry. At first, we thought he died from smoke inhalation during the fire at Ward House, but the coroner subsequently confirmed that death was due to injuries from a blow to the head with a blunt instrument.
And what led you to suspect Laura Spencer of this crime?
Well, she was on the premises at the time of the murder, and we also had phone company records of a call that she made to Damian Smith that afternoon. But the main piece of evidence was a baseball bat found near the victim's body, which was determined to be the murder weapon. A splinter of wood had broken off and was embedded in the victim's skull. Mrs. Spencer's fingerprints were on that bat.
Is this the bat in question?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, we ask that this bat, previously marked as Exhibit number 1A, be entered into evidence.
So ordered.
Were there any other prints found on this bat?
No, only Laura Spencer's.
Is that when you decided to press charges against her?
Yes.
And subsequently, you became aware of a videotape that established a prior threat. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Tell us about that, please.
A few months ago, Damian Smith had a run-in with Luke and Laura Spencer at their club Luke's. Veronica Bowles caught it on videotape. We heard about it and issued a subpoena.
Could you describe to us what's on that videotape that led you to conclude that Laura Spencer murdered Damian Smith?
Objection, Your Honor. Leading the witness, the detective has not testified that anything on the tape led him to conclude anything.
Sustained. Rephrase the question, Miss Jensen.
Detective, did Laura Spencer threaten Damian Smith on the videotape?
Yes, she did.
Describe that threat to the jury, please.
Mr. Smith taunted Mrs. Spencer about being a bad mother because she didn't know her son had been gambling. So she grabbed a baseball bat and was about to clobber him when her husband stepped in.
Objection, Your Honor. Detective has no way of knowing what the defendant was about to do, only what she did.
What are you doing here, Ned?
She was about to clobber him.
I need your signature on this trust fund document.
Out of it. Anyway, she dropped the baseball bat, and a second later she swung around and socked Mr. Smith hard.
This trial certainly has you on the edge of your seat.
One moment, please.
When did you become so invested in Laura Spencer?
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Your witness, Mr. Ward.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll be brief. Detective Garcia, did you interrogate Lucky Spencer about his involvement in Damian Smith's murder?
Sir, I certainly would not call it an interrogation.
Oh, really? Well, what would you call it?
I wouldn't call it anything.
Well, whatever it was, did it take place in the interrogation room downtown at police headquarters?
Yes, but sir...
And at that time, did you question the minor about whether or not he murdered Damian Smith?
Not in the way you're implying.
Yes or no, Detective?
Yes, sir, but again...
And at that time, did you have the permission of the Spencers to interrogate their son?
What I've been trying to tell you is Lucky Spencer came to me. He...
Oh, I see. So you immediately picked up the phone and called Mr. and Mrs. Spencer to find out if they had any objections to this interview.
No.
Isn't it true, Detective, that you were under so much pressure to solve this crime from the ex-police commissioner that you were desperate for a suspect, any suspect, including a 13-year-old boy?
Objection. Counsel is badgering the witness.
I have no more questions, Your Honor.
You may step down. You may call your next witness.
At this time, I would like to call Dr. Simone Hardy to the stand.
What is this?
Was that an objection?
Yes, Your Honor, it most certainly was. Your Honor, Dr. Hardy is not on today's witness list.
She's on the master list, Your Honor, and she happens to be present now.
Half of Port Charles is on your master list, and Dr. Hardy is way down at the bottom. Your Honor, I have not had a chance to interview her, and I'm not prepared to cross.
I have a hard time believing that. Aren't the two of you engaged to be married?
Well, whether or not we are, Ms. Jensen, it's none of your business.
Well, I'm allowed to change the order of my witness list with good reason.
The only reason you have for changing this list is to try to throw me off balance. What's the matter, counselor? Did I trump you with my opening statement, or was it my cross of Garcia?
That's enough. I'm warning you both, I will not put up with this crossfire between the two of you.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Miss Jensen, what is your reason for calling this particular witness at this time?
I intend to challenge the defendant's alibi for the night of the murder, and Dr. Hardy's the only one that could help me do that.
All right. I'm going to allow you to call her, but don't make a habit of these surprises, Miss Jensen.
I won't, Your Honor. The people call Dr. Simone Hardy to the stand.
Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name for the record.
Dr. Simone Hardy.
Dr. Hardy, you were the consulting pediatrician for the children at Ward House, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
On the night of March the 15th, did you receive a call from Laura Spencer? She was at Ward House that night.
Yes, I did.
What did she say?
That little James was coming down with an ear infection. She was afraid that it might be the same infection that had been plaguing her daughter, Lulu.
Did she mention that everyone else had gone off on a trip and that she was there alone with the two babies?
Yes, she did.
What did you advise her to do about James?
Well, I said that I would phone in a renewal of Lou's prescription and that she could give a dose to the boy. And then we arranged for her to bring him in for an examination the next morning since she didn't feel as though it was an emergency.
Do you usually let parents diagnose their children's symptoms for you?
Objection, Your Honor. If the point of this is to belittle Dr. Hardy's reputation...
Frankly, I'm more concerned with showing that Laura Spencer had an ulterior motive in calling Dr. Hardy. That she manipulated the good doctor for her own purposes.
You may proceed, but get to the point quickly, counsel.
When was the last time you saw James before that night?
The day before, I gave him a routine checkup.
Did he have an ear infection?
Not that I saw, but babies...
Just answer the question, please. At the time of the examination, did he have an ear infection or show any signs of developing one?
No.
Nice shot.
Thanks. You, looking for a game?
Nah, you're too good for me. I'm looking for a guy named Harper. His landlady said he hangs out here. Is that you?
No, it's not. What do you want with this guy, Harper?
Well, I've got something I think he'll be interested in. Tell him to get a hold of Luke Spencer at Luke's.
That place over on, Prospect Avenue.
That's the one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when I might see him again, you know, but, if I do, I'll pass the word along.
All right, thanks. Don't force it now. Stroke the stick, let the cue do the work for you. See you around.
Dr. Hardy, in your experience as a pediatrician, do babies oftentimes develop infections suddenly?
All the time.
So is it possible that baby James developed his infection after you examined him?
I have to object, Your Honor. Her answer would be merely supposition. The baby could have developed a ruptured appendix or epilepsy after she saw him, but the fact is, when she examined him, he was perfectly well.
Your Honor, surely any physician is qualified to answer such a basic question.
I'm going to allow it. Proceed.
Dr. Hardy, is it possible that James developed his infection after you examined him?
Yes, it's possible.
Thank you, Doctor. I have no further questions.
Your Honor, I'd like to redirect.
Go ahead.
Dr. Hardy, how long have you been treating James?
Since he was born.
And do you have any records of him ever having an ear infection?
No, I don't.
That'll be all. Thank you.
Hey, how'd it go? Did you find your man?
I'm getting close.
I didn't appreciate the little stunt you pulled earlier, tearing off the address.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make it easier for you, Mac, you know, so you don't have to bend the rules and give it to me.
Oh, well, thanks for your consideration. Don't let it happen again.
I hear you.
Here you are.
Yeah, how's it going?
Well, I think you'd better get yourself back in the courtroom. It's been a day full of surprises.
I'm going to adjourn this court for the day and hope that by tomorrow morning the powers that be find a way to get the air conditioning system up and running. The court will convene again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. sharp. I remind the jury that you're not to discuss this case among yourselves or with anyone else. Good day.
All rise.
I'm enjoying this workout. I hope you are too.
Laura, I am so sorry. I had no idea that I'd be called in today or that the district attorney would go after me that way.
We should have expected it, and you handled yourself very well, you know? You told the truth. It's okay.
It was rough. Honey, I never would have taken off if it wasn't necessary.
Where were you?
I'll explain later. You look pale.
It's just that it's so hot in here. I mean, I felt like I was gonna faint a couple of times. This is just being in the hot seat instead of the real murderer.
No, it's sweltering outside.
Yeah, well, I've got a feeling this trial is about to heat up, too. Today may end up looking like a real picnic.
I don't like being a witness for the other side. I don't know what I can possibly contribute, and I certainly don't appreciate testifying against Laura when I know darn well she didn't do it.
You're doing a great impression of a hostile witness, which I guess is what you are.
Please, God, don't let them ask me the details of my history with Laura. Look at that. Where's Simone? She's still reeling from her testimony yesterday.
I feel so guilty. I let Dara Jensen back me into a corner.
You told the truth.
Do you think the jury paid attention once the damage was done?
Of course they did. That's their job.
How can anyone believe this heat?
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for coming.
You'll do fine. It's going to be murder in there today, though.
Sorry. It's a good one, Doc.
Good luck, Laura.
Thanks. I'll need it.
Statement, please.
Councilman Ward, will Laura Spencer take the stand on your behalf?
We haven't decided yet.
Is your client guilty?
My client is innocent.
Do you think you can get a non-guilty verdict?
Miss Thompson, from the Herald, my client is innocent, so we expect to get a non-guilty verdict.
What effect do you think that the case will have on public opinion regarding the election?
I'm here defending a woman wrongly accused of murder, and I think that that is far more important
that winning
than...
this case is going to be your ticket back on the city council seat?
How many times do I have to say...
Ladies and gentlemen, Councilman Ward is due in court.
Oh, come on.
Any questions you have about his campaign, just feel free to direct towards me.
And you are?
I'm Alan Quartermain Jr. I'm acting campaign manager for the council.
Well, isn't that Laura Spencer's job?
Well, she's otherwise occupied right now. But we fully expect her back on the job in short order. Now, did somebody ask about public opinion polls?